Be more consistent, never miss easy shots. If you follow these 5 tips, you will never miss again, probably. Josh from PH Tennis here, and today I'm going to make you never miss again. These are my top 5 tips for building consistency. Now there's lots of different things I could have picked. I have chosen ones that are a little bit decision making based on when to play certain types of shots, but also some really core setup ideas. How you set yourself up, how you get in position to play your shots. Because if you do that correctly, you're going to level up your consistency because you're going to get in the same positions and more consistent positions to be able to play shots. Tennis shots are easy. If you bounce the ball to yourself, you get thrown a ball, they're easy to play, but it's when you're in the heat of battle and your opponent's moving you off balance and you've got to get in the right positions, that's where we start overplaying and underperforming. So I have 5 tips today that are going to help you understand when is the right time to attack and how to understand the thinking around it and how to pick which ones to use and when, so you never miss again and build your consistency. My first tip is a mental tip. It is a mindset shift, and it is don't play out of ego. Now, we see it all the time. You'll have seen it all the time at your clubs. Big, mainly men, see the ball get hit hard and want to just hit it back harder. Or equally, see the ball come really slowly and really gently and want to hit it back harder. They're making a decision of what type of shot to play based on their perception and their ego and what they think they should do, rather than playing what situation they're actually in. You need to be honest with yourself, you need to attack when it's right, and you need to defend when it is right. Now you might be thinking, Josh, I don't know when it's right. Well, don't worry, I have 4 more tips to share with you, and we're probably going to shed some light on some of the times when it is correct to attack and maybe when it isn't. Play the situation, don't play out of ego. One of the keys to being a super consistent tennis player is to always get behind the ball. We prep our racket out to the side of us, we call that position 0, and make sure we get behind the incoming ball. This works almost like a subconscious mark. We're marking where our contact's going to be, where our racket's going to come back to. So we prep our racket out to the side. Once we then play our shot, our racket comes back through that same point, and that is going to allow a consistent distance between you and the ball, which in turn is going to allow for a much more consistent shot. Say goodbye to ones that are too close to you, ones that you're stretching for. If you mark your contact by getting a consistent distance away from you, you are going to build your consistency and build the ability to play more attacking shots more often. How great is that? My third tip to build your consistency and never miss is to stop before you play. That's a more of a lower level where you completely want to get your feet grounded so you have a strong foundation, you're balanced, and you're able to then play your shot. But it translates up through intermediate and more advanced players where you need to get set, you need to be stable. You can't try and play on the run all the time if you want to have a consistent game. Sometimes you have to, but if you want to make more balls, put more balls in court, put more pressure back on your opponent, you need to have stopped, get set, be stable, and be able to play where your whole body can be in the shot. You need to be able to drive up through the floor using your feet, using your legs, and you can't do that if you haven't got set, if you are not stable. So try and stop. If you can't stop, at least get set. And if you can't get set, at least be stable and balanced, and that is going to allow your shot to be much more consistent and lead to far fewer mistakes. Now we know we need to stop or at least get set before we play our shot. We need to be aware of the direction of our last step. So the direction we took our last step before we stopped or into our set position. So if our last step was forward, down the court, our weight transfer is going to be behind our shot, going towards our target. And this means we're probably going to be able to use a more attacking shot. Sometimes your last step has to be sideways, you're reaching across, you've stepped over to the ball. That means your weight is not going towards your target, it's going across you. So maybe a more neutral shot is required. And finally, of course, sometimes your last step is still going backwards. Someone attacks you, you get height and depth against you, you go backwards, you're still getting set, you're still trying to stop, but your last step has gone back, your weight is going back and away from the shot. It's very unlikely from here you can play an attacking ball, so it's going to be more likely to be a defensive shot. If you can match these up, you're going to improve your consistency and hopefully never miss again. My final tip is a bit of a cheat. It is a mix of all of them. You cannot make your decision of what type of shot to play, an attacking, a neutral, a defensive one, just based on the situation, or just based on the direction of your last step, on just based if you stopped or not. And so once you have understood that ideally you've got your racket behind the ball, ideally you're set up, ideally your last step has made you be stable, and ideally that last step has gone down the court, you need a combination of all of this, and we don't have time to make that choice, to go through all those different categories every shot. So we have to use something that sums it all up. And I like to ask myself the question, do you feel confident? Because if I feel confident, chances are all those other things are right. The ball that's come in is one that I should attack on, so I'm not playing out of ego. I probably have got set. I probably have got behind the ball. My last step probably is forwards. And if I don't feel confident, something else has gone wrong. Maybe I'm tired, maybe the sun's in my eyes, maybe I'm love 40 down and it's match point. It doesn't matter what the reason is, then I'm gonna pick a more sensible, more defensive shot. And as soon as you start making these decisions better, of course your consistency and of course your amount of errors decreases. Consistency increases, errors decreases. Perfect. So play, be aware of all the different factors we've talked about, but understand there isn't one magic bullet. You need to take them all into consideration all the time. And when you do, you're going to start seeing your level of play increase dramatically, and you'll start beating people that you used to lose to. You're welcome. So there you go, my 5 main tips to build consistency and reduce your errors, and hopefully never miss again. We're not playing out of ego. We're getting our racket behind the ball. We're stopping, we're understanding when we've stopped which direction we're moving, and then we're taking a much bigger picture look. We are considering all of these factors at once by asking ourselves the simple question, do I feel confident? And based on the answers of that, we're then picking a defensive, a neutral, or an attacking shot. Or here at PH, what we call that is DNA, defensive, neutral, and attacking. That is how we train our students. That's how we as players decide what type of shot to play and when. If you found this insightful, please let us know in the comments. If you have any questions, please also let us know in the comments. And as always, a little subscribe to the channel goes a long, long way to supporting us. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.